There's a non-alcoholic anti-hero from Rev? Put it in the carts. Sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. This is Beer in Front. Every week I'll talk to people in and around the beer world and get their stories all about beer. That's Beer in Front, and it's coming up now. Welcome to episode 299 of Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris, and Beer in Front is a charter member of the Beer Media Group. Quick show this week, just me, no guests. I've got a lot of guests lined up in the near future, but for now, you just got to deal with me. I was looking at my emails the other day, and I get something from Revolution that they're coming out, or they came out with that day, a non-alcoholic anti-hero called Anti-Zero. I had to go pick this one up. You know me, I like non-alcoholic beers, and I've talked about it on this show. I've talked about it on the live streams I do, the Midwest Beer Show with Rod J. Beer Ventures, that I think one of the ways that the market's going to grow even more is by having established breweries come out with an NA version of their flagship. This is exactly what I was thinking and talking about. You know, people like me that are craft beer drinkers who do like non-alcoholic, I'm going to gravitate towards, in my case, Revolution, which is local, than some national player. So this is a really cool idea. I'm going to have it a little bit later on in the show and talk about that. But really big news in the non-alcoholic beer category, and keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hoping this is good, but I really don't. I have no doubts. If this is from Revolution, it's going to be a good one. Saturday night, May 2nd, is going to be the next episode of the Midwest Beer Show. Generally have it 7 p.m., so it'll be 7 p.m. Central Time on Saturday, the 2nd of May. The topic for this episode is going to be how beer has changed and how craft beer has changed since COVID in 2020. Lining up some guests, I have the chief economist from the Brewers Association coming on, reaching out to a couple breweries, putting some feelers out to see if anyone wants to come on. But if you have any ideas, if you have any stories like how your drinking habits, how your beer habits have changed since 2020, I'd like to hear about it. You could reach out to me or Rod J. You could send me an email, dave@beerinfront.com. I'd love to hear it. The more the merrier. So please let me know, your thoughts or, how your habits have changed since COVID. I know mine have definitely. And it's not just beer, even like going out. We don't go out as much for dinner, other things. And it's not just 2020. We got a special needs pain in the ass dog that goes crazy whenever we leave the house. We don't go out to dinner as much because poor little Moira Rose will not be happy. But I know a lot of people, their habits have changed, like going to concerts, going to different events. So please, if you have any ideas or thoughts about this, please, send me an email, get a hold of me. I'd like to hear about it. Also have a ton of interviews coming up. I'm going to talk to Best Day Brewing. They're a great non-alcoholic brewery that's out there. They're really good. Couple other breweries lined up. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the next couple of weeks. But for now, just got to deal with me. So without further ado, let's get on to the news. In beer and beverage news, sad news from Illinois that Brother Chimp, they are going to have to close their North Aurora facility. They opened up the day before COVID, and, we talked about it before. Things just aren't that good. So, unfortunately, the North Aurora location has to close. The location in St. Charles is doing well, so they're going to put all their efforts into St. Charles. So Brother Chimp's not going anywhere, just the facility and the place over in North Aurora. Really sad news out of Michigan. Greenbush Brewing, they're going the way of all good things after 14 years, 10 months, and 3 days. Greenbush was a phenomenal place. I've been there a couple of times. Their black IPA Anger was one of my favorites and one of the best black IPAs I've ever had. Loved going to Greenbush. I remember going there. They had a brisket, macaroni, and cheese that I'm lactose intolerant, and that was worth rolling the dice for that. That was just phenomenal. But their beers were great. The place was great. It was always a good vibe in there, but really sad news out of Michigan that Greenbush is going to be closing down. Victory Brewing, they're going to come out with a limited edition. Instead of their Brotherly Love Hazy IPA, this is going to be their Brotherly Shove for their fans in Pennsylvania. So this looks really cool. If you're in Pennsylvania, you got to grab yourself the Brotherly Shove. Legendary metal band Iron Maiden. They had always had this Trooper. It was an IPA or it was a beer. It was made from a brewery in England. And now they're going to have this here in the States. They're teaming up with Lagunitas. So this is going to be Trooper West Coast IPA. That's going to come out in June. So hopefully we can get that all around. But if you're a fan of Lagunitas and you're a fan of Iron Maiden, look out for the Trooper West Coast IPA. Sierra Nevada is expanding their non-alcoholic Trail Pass line. They're going to have a Lemon Radler coming out. This is in collaboration with the Trust for Public Land. I like everything that I've had out of the Trail Pass line, so I'm excited to try this Lemon Radler for them. Keep an eye out for that. Speaking of Lagunitas, I got another Lagunitas story. They're teaming up with Pinter. Now, they're going to have Pinter is a device that you could make beer at home. I've tried it before. I had mixed results. But if you're a fan or was a fan of Lagunitas' Something Easy, they're going to have this kit available for you to make with your Pinter. If you're a fan, I'm not going to say anything good. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I had mixed results. Some of that I think was my own fault. But if you're a fan of Something Easy, you can make this at home with the Pinter. The Brewers Association released their numbers for the year in the 2025 top 50 U.S. craft brewing companies that are out there. Little bit of a shakeup. Sierra Nevada is now number 2. They jumped past Boston Beer Company. So now you have Sierra Nevada at number 2. Yingling is still number 1. Boston Beer is 3rd. You got a lot of conglomerates in here. Athletic, they're up to number 6. That's a nice jump for Athletic. Some other ones that are on here. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of conglomerates, but Garage Beer is now up to number 12. New Glarus dropped down to number 13, which is still impressive since they only sell in Wisconsin. My Wisconsin fans drink a lot. You guys drink a lot of beer. Three Floyds in the Midwest here is at number 25. Great Lakes 26. Stevens Point up in Wisconsin's number 28. Revolution's at number 39. Summit out of St. Paul, keeping it in the Midwest, is at number 40. Fatheads is number 50 out of the top 50. You got Surly still in there at number 47. Craft beer still declining, but there's just a lot of great beer that's out there. Looking at this list, I mean, some of the things that I've had from these breweries are still killer. Odell is on this list. Maui Brewing Company's on this list. I don't know how Abita, I haven't seen Abita in 1,000 years, but Abita's still here. A lot of great breweries out there putting out a lot of good stuff. Rheingeist is here at number 19. You could tell I'm just reading this and talking as I'm going along, but still a lot of great breweries out there in the top 50. Sad news out of Michigan. Hophead Farms, they're discontinuing their operations. According to Brian Dixon, who's the CFO at Hophead Farms, this decision comes after multiple years of declining margins and reduced sales. They've been open since 2011. They've supplied hops for many great Michigan breweries such as Bell's, New Holland, others. I know there's been Illinois breweries that have used them. I mean, it's not cool. I'm reading this over on mlive.com. This is where I found the news on this. They're saying the fewer brewers are willing to pay a top price for hops. You could get hops in the Pacific Northwest a lot cheaper due to lower growing costs. Unfortunately, they have to shut down. They're stopping all operations. There's going to be auctions on the 29th of April. Just not cool. I know Hophead Farms has done a lot of good work. I'm sure we've all had beers that have had hops from a Hophead Farm. So just another not cool piece of news that's happening lately. Really good news to close this off out of Chicago. My friends over at Old Irving Brewing, they're announcing a new partnership with Billy Goat Tavern. You know, Billy Goat, cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger. They're now the official beer maker, and they're going to make two exclusive beers for Billy Goat, a Billy Goat Pilsner and a Billy Goat IPA. According to the press release, this is developed to reflect the tavern's character. Simple, classic, and made to pair perfect with their cheeseburger. So if you're at Billy Goat Tavern, you could pick up a solid, phenomenal beer from Old Irving Brewing. Before I crack open the Anti-Zero from Revolution Brewing, I want to talk about it a little bit. Like, if you've been paying attention to what's going on in craft beer, you know that the non-alcoholic category is having a moment. And Revolution Brewing here in Chicago has just made a move that I think is worth talking about. They dropped Anti-Zero last week. This is a non-alcoholic IPA. And honestly, the name alone tells you everything about how they're approaching this. They're not coming out with something new and calling it something else. They're putting this in pretty much an identical can to Anti-Hero. They have red all around it, so you know it's non-alcoholic, but they didn't take the easy road here. They didn't just make an IPA, a non-alcoholic IPA, and call it that. They're basing this on the number one selling IPA in the state of Illinois. So to me, they're putting their name, their reputation behind this. That means a lot, to me as a regular drinker. I drink regular beer, I drink non-alcoholic beer. I like them both, but this means a lot to me. Now, from the press release, Revolution is calling this an American powerhouse of hops. They describe this as a fistful of hops with bright aromatics, layered bitterness, and the classic Revolution IPA profile, all delivered at less than 0.5% ABV. If you know Anti-Hero, it's a hop bomb. It combines 5 classic U.S. hop varieties. You get notes of grapefruit, lemon, orange marmalade. Is it marmalade or marmalade? But I'm going to go with Patti LaBelle and call it marmalade. And the beer, like I said, it's the number one selling IPA in Illinois. And Anti-Zero, they're positioning this to be the cousin of that beer, the same bold Revolution fingerprint, but minus the alcohol. This is not their first rodeo in the NA pool. They had Super Zero, which was a sparkling hop water that came out a couple years ago. That was really good. But Anti-Zero is something different. It's an actual beer. It's a non-alcoholic IPA. This checks in at 73 calories, 15 grams of carbs per a 12-ounce can. It's going to be part of the year-round lineup. That's really cool. This isn't just, something, it's a one-off for Sober October, Dry January. This is going to be something that's out there. It's only right now available in the tap room on Kedzie. So you got to go to there. You got to pick it up at Kedzie, but it's worth picking up. Starting next month around Memorial Day, it's going to be available wherever you pick up your Revolution beer. So that's cool. So you'll be able to get that wherever. Why I think positioning this with a very similar can to Anti-Hero, why I think this matters. The non-alcoholic beer market has grown leaps and bounds, but you're still dominated by these big national brands like Athletic and others. There's very few craft outliers there. When a brewery with the reputation and the distribution of Revolution, they step into that space with this serious hop forward IPA, it signals that this isn't a compromise, it's not a niche, it's an actual category. So definitely keep an eye on this. Strong distribution Revolution Brewing has around Chicago and Illinois. There's buzz around this. You're not going to have to look hard to find this. So, whatever you're doing, you're cutting back for the day, you're being the designated driver, you're just curious, you're doing a dry month, whatever your reasons are for having a non alcoholic beer, they're valid by all means. I have plenty of days where I'm just doing an NA. I'm hoping that this is going to be worth having. Let's bust this one open here. That's a good sounding can open. I might have to steal that to use for the rest of my plugs. That was a great can open right there. All right, the Anti-Zero pours nice, really good foam here. Some NA beers, you don't get a good head on the beer. This has got a couple fingers of foam. I will say this is a tick darker than the regular Anti-Hero, but I don't want to compare the two. This stands on its own, so I'm not definitely don't want to compare it, but I mean, it's based on Anti-Hero, so I do have to compare it. Same malt, same hops, same amount of hops, just a different yeast that's making this a non-alcoholic. So it is a little darker. I'm sure it has something to do with the yeast. It smells great. Like, it smells like an Anti-Hero, and I just had one last night, so I'm pretty familiar with it. No, it smells phenomenal. That's nice. Definitely, it's a big hop bomb there. You get all those wonderful flavors from the hops that they use. We mentioned before they're using 5 different hops here. Really tastes good. I'm trying to think. Let me have another sip of this. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not getting as much bitterness. But that could just be me. I'm not saying it's not as bitter. I'm just not picking that up right now. But the flavor is fantastic. It's a good finish to it. I like it. I like this one a lot. And this is going to be a fridge staple for a while. I think I'm always going to have one of these around. Some days you just don't want, even if you just don't want that second beer. All right. You had a tough day at work, you had a beer, you still want something else, but you don't want to wake up feeling like shit. So I'm a fan of this. I think Revolution knocked this one out of the park. Let me grab one. This could be the longest beer in front segment I've ever done. I'm pushing 8 minutes on just a beer, but this is really good. No, I'm definitely digging this. You see it, grab it, put it in the cart. Go to Kedzie right now and grab it. Starting next month around Memorial Day, you'll be able to pick it up wherever you get your Revolution Brewing beers. This is outstanding. So, huge fan of Anti-Zero. You got to grab it. All right, the beer that I'm going to have now is from More Brewing. This is called Loose Candy. Double dry hopped India Pale Ale, 8.4%. They use Citra, El Dorado, and Vic Secret hops in there. If you watch my video, you know I love grandma candy, and they have a lot of like grandma candy like designs on this. So that sold me right there. I like everything that I've had from More. So let's check out Loose Candies. Really nice, light color, good foam on this. Smells pretty good. I'm trying to think what I get. I get like, am I getting like grapefruit? I'm getting some citrus out of this. It smells good. That's tasty. Really nice flavor there. Even getting a little bitterness out of this. Let me have another sip. Yeah. Little bitterness there, but definitely like sweet. That hop combination is good. I'm getting citrus with this. I think it's a good tasting beer. Although when it's called loose candies, I was expecting like something pink or whatever to come out of this. But no, it's just your solid double dry hopped IPA. If you see this one for more, you know what to do. You grab it, put it in the cart. All right, the beer that's in front of me now is from Hop Butcher. This is Sweet Home. It's got the Chicago flag on there, so you got to have it. Also, I have the poster from this can hanging on my wall, so this was an easy decision. This is an IPA here. Of course, Hop Butcher puts out some killer IPAs. Let's crack this one open. Wonderful aroma. I could smell it before I even put it up to my nose. Nice color, good hazy New England style. Yeah, that's really good. They use Citra, El Dorado, and Motueka hops on there. I know I effed that one up, but it's a hop that starts with an M. But looks good, smells good. Let's give it a taste. Excellent. Excellent beer. Wonderful flavors on that. You get a lot of like tropical citrus notes. I mean, it smells fantastic. This is just your classic New England style IPA. Only 6.5% alcohol. Nice mouthfeel on this. All in all, just a solid beer. Whenever this one comes out, we put it out a couple times a year. It's definitely one you got to grab, put in a cart. So if you see this Sweet Home from Hop Butcher, you know what to do. You got to grab it and put this one in the cart. That's going to put a nice shiny bow on this edition of Beer in Front. I thank you so much for listening. If you need to get a hold of me, please email me, Dave at Beer in Front. You can find me on all the social media channels at Beer in Front. If you'd like to support the show, please, you can head over to patreon.com/Beer in Front for more information. Have a great week. I'll talk to you next week. And remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet.